I'm gonna try. If you guys have been with the channel for a little while, it was getting so hot in the garage that the phone was overheating and we weren't able to do these Friday night lives. So we'll try it. We'll see how it works. We'll just let some people join in here for a second. Make sure all our lenses are clear. We'll get going here. Just let some people join in and then we'll get started. What's up, Diego? What's up, Henry? What's going on? What's going on? So we'll let some people join in and we'll get started. I kind of just last minute decided to do a little bit earlier than usual, so see if we can get some people up in here and then we'll get started. I was gonna make a video today, but I decided that it's just easier just to do it this way because a lot didn't go on today. I'm kind of at a bit of a standstill, so wasn't a whole lot of progress today. I just did some housekeeping or in the garage and stuff and getting organized. But we'll kind of talk a little bit tonight. You know, I'll get you guys up to speed. You guys are pretty much up to date on everything, but I'll tell you guys a little bit more about what's going on, and we'll go from there. So yeah, you guys are pretty much up to date on the situation here, but I'll let you know what's going on. What's up? Motivation, what's up? James says sweet. Sam says turn in a long travel pre-runner. Probably not. Brandon, what's up? Stall converter. Yeah, so I'll let you guys know. We'll kind of let everybody get a chance to get in here, and then I'll show you guys kind of what's going on. And we can run around here in the shop. This is the way I used to do my lives, and I can kind of, it's cool. I can flip it around so I can do that, and then I can flip it back to me and stuff. But it was so hot in here that it kept like killing the phone. The phone kept like overheating trying to do the live from here. But we'll try it again since it's still pretty hot out. I'm not gonna lie, but we'll see what happens. So I did a little bit better news than last day. I guess I'll get into it in just a second. But if you guys aren't up to speed, I'll show you guys a couple things too. Since a lot of you guys that usually come on these Friday night lives are pretty loyal subscribers, so I'll show you guys this. So I did manage to get the trailer back here. I know I talked about this for a long time with you guys, but I managed to get the trailer behind the fence. It was in the driveway for a while, and I knew I had the space back here, but I don't know if you guys remember, you guys have been with the channel for a while, this was all dirt when I picked up this place. Like, just, it was nasty. It was all dirt and no grass and nothing, and that's where some of my time's been going off camera, was to kind of clean this place up too. So there's the grenaded transmission, and I'm trying to decide what pieces or parts I do want to keep or not keep from that. But yeah, the trailer's still pretty tight back here. We got palm trees real close, but I managed to squeeze this thing back here. So, and then if you guys haven't seen this video already, like, that's that's the aftermath of the transmission. Like, it is just destructo. It's crazy. So even if you guys seen the video on the other video, on the other channel, I should say, I went to try to take off the PCM, or sorry, the TCM off of this, and even the TCM was broken on the valve body. So I was hoping that it would save me a little bit of programming, but this thing sustained so much damage. Like, even where the valve body screws into the transmission, that was all messed up. Like, a lot of the bolts were, you can see right there, snapped right off. There's another broken bolt. There's another broken bolt. So you can see how long the threads are supposed to be, but the bolts were all snapped. And then where the valve body like bolts into, over there, look, snapped, 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 snapped. Look, here's the bolts broken inside it. Like, this thing is just grenaded. So I showed you guys on that video though, like, that is a pretty significant force to snap that main shaft in there. And there's the back half of the case. So it's pretty wild, you guys. There's I'm pretty confident to say that there was something bent inside this transmission, but that's kind of part of the whole thing with doing this stuff. Is I did, like, as you guys know, you guys have been following the build, or you guys have watched the series right from the very beginning. When I purchased the swap out of the wrecked car, it was, I only got like so standard junkyard warranties are usually only like 90 days. So I got the standard junkyard warranty with this swap, which was 90 days, which is, as you guys know, we've been, months into this project, so we're pretty deep into the project. But the new transmission has a 6-month warranty. So a little bit better for sure, but it's kind of what you get. Kind of what you get when you do this stuff. So let me see, and hopefully I'm not too into the camera, but I kind of have to be a little bit closer than on the computer to see your guys' comments, so don't mind the close-up of my face. Let me just see what you guys are saying here. Henry says stall converter. So this is what we're doing on the stall. So there's like 52 people in here. 52 people and only 13 thumbs up. What's going on here? Smash one of these if you guys are liking all this madness going on lately. Yeah, I'll answer the question and I'll kind of divert a little bit. So I think I started to tell you on the last video, I was trying to decide and trying to make sure that we're going to be, good to go here. Of course, I think I've said it a bunch of times, but I'll say it again, like I'm trying to make Roadkill Nights, which is August 14th, but I have to be there on the 13th. I think there's like sign in and all that stuff, or there might even be testing on the 13th. I gotta check and see what the schedule is exactly, but I know I have to be there on the 13th. So the 13th is, Friday the 13th, I guess. But it's 2,300 miles from my doorstep. So I have to be there Friday. I'm probably gonna have to leave Monday at the latest just to have a somewhat comfortable drive there, because it's like 36 hours of driving to get there. But with that being said, that leaves me with, if I have to leave latest next Monday, I think I'd prefer to leave on Sunday. Next Sunday, that leaves me with just over 1 week to get this truck ready to be there. So that's kind of where it's kind of crunch time right now. And as you guys know, I bought the new transmission, and I'll flip this around. I bought the new transmission, or new to me transmission from LKQ, but it was missing the converter, but it kind of worked out in my favor. Let me turn this so that light's not blinding me. Kind of worked out in my favor though, because I'll give you guys the numbers on the transmission. So the transmission from LKQ was $2,800 from LKQ plus tax. I think worked out to be $3,100, like $300 tax. When I got to LKQ, and that was pickup, so it was only like 40 minutes away. So I went to go pick it up, and when they went to load it in my truck, it was missing the converter on it. So they actually wanted to load it up into my truck. I don't know if I mentioned this on the actual video, but they were like, oh, just load it up and you can call them later and try to figure it out. I'm like, no, I'm not loading it up into my truck and taking it away and then telling them later that the converter is missing, because you guys already know how that would go. They'd probably try to say that I try to pull a fast one on them or something. So they ended up taking it, they were about to put it in the truck. They had it up on the forklift. They took it back down, took it away. And I had sat on the loading dock for like 3 hours while they figured out what kind of discount to give me. So the short of the long, I guess, is I had to pay $3,100 for that transmission, and then they credited me almost $1,400 back just for the converter, because those converters are like $1,340 to buy, plus a $500 or $800 core charge. Like, it's something crazy. So they gave me $1,340 off of that. So it pretty much almost chopped the price of the transmission in half. So I might have paid like, around $1,700 or something for that transmission. But I didn't have a good converter. So I was debating slapping my old converter into that, but it would kind of be a ballsy move and really rolling the dice. Even though I drained the fluid out of it and it seemed to be clean, didn't really want to risk ruining the new transmission if there's any metal particles stuck in that converter and then got sent through the new transmission. It would pretty much be the end of our new transmission. So I was really debating what do I do, but I didn't want to like be stuck in the water, like almost like I was a minute ago. So I sent that out to Circle D, but we still have not had confirmation. They know that we're on a tight schedule, but I guess they're like 4 to 5 weeks out for a build schedule, I was told. But they're gonna try to get it back to me within 1 week. But we're just on such a short timeline that I don't know if it's gonna happen on time. So I did more research yesterday. I ended up finding someone up north in California that has a stock converter. Anyways, I ended up reaching out to them, and I was asking them about questions about the converter. What's the story on it? What did it come from? Was it out of a blown transmission? All the basic questions. And then he said that he bought a Hellcat swap for a Dodge Dart, but he ended up putting like a regular transmission in it. He didn't end up doing, the 8-speed. So he said when he bought it, though, it had, how when you separate the transmission, some guys won't unbolt the torque converter from the engine or the flex plate. So I guess his engine had a torque converter stuck to it, and the transmission went another direction. So I ended up getting that torque converter, and he ended up knowing the channel. He's like, "Oh no," because I told him it was going to a Hellcat Swap Dakota, and he ended up saying that he's watching the channel, so he hooked it up huge. He's overnight shipping it to us, so I have a stock converter on its way. It got shipped out today, so I'll see it Monday. So that's where we're at. Kind of saved the day a little bit with that. I'll have a stock converter by Monday that's I can put in, and I'm also going to see if potentially Circle D is able to finish our converter, but I think honestly I'm just going to slap the stock one in and get moving, because I do, as you guys know, this truck is a fairly fresh build, of course, so I kind of want to get some testing in on this thing. So I think I'm probably gonna slap the converter in Monday, the stock one, once it arrives. I'm gonna have to figure out the programming. That's the other thing too. It's a little bit unknown. A lot of guys will end up just taking something like this to the dealership, and they will end up, getting it programmed. But there's some options in Alpha OBD to program a new TCM, transmission control module. So I'm gonna be doing that stuff. So hopefully, if all goes well, I'm gonna put the new transmission in. It's only 1 year older, so everything on the truck right now is 2019, and that transmission's out of a 2018. So it should be okay, but I'm gonna slap that in. I'm gonna have to program it. Hopefully all that works. And then our drive shaft's also supposed to be done on Monday, so we're getting an aluminum drive shaft. So John's Drivelines ended up upgrading us from a steel 3.5-inch drive shaft to a 4-inch drive shaft. So it's only a slight bit bigger, but it's gonna be aluminum, so a lot lighter, a lot less weight on the tail shaft of the transmission. Again, I do think it was a failure inside the transmission, but just to be on the safe side and to, minimize any stress on the back of the transmission, we're gonna have an aluminum one on here this time. And some guys were asking, did the old drive shaft have a slip? Yes, it did have a slip. If you guys look, it had, pretty significant amount too. So it definitely wasn't an issue with, some guys were saying, maybe we had some axle wrap and it drove the drive shaft in the back of the transmission, but definitely wasn't that. It didn't break on the launch, and it was doing it when we were testing it, even when we weren't, launching the truck. It was just speed dependent. Like I said, it had to be around like the 80 or 90 mile mark. We trapped it almost 100 miles an hour, and that's pretty much when it blew. So it seemed to have some sort of vibration in and around there, but I did not think it was a vibration that was going to explode the truck. We kind of felt it, shaking it when we were testing a little bit, but nothing, like, kind of just felt like you had a wheel out of balance right around that speed. It didn't feel like it was going to grenade the whole truck, which obviously we learned it did. But I mean, positives out of this, not trying to, pull some sort of sympathy card, but honestly pretty thankful that nothing happened. You guys have probably seen and heard, everybody has some sort of story where, something came through the floor or some sort of shrapnel came through and injured somebody. So thankful that nothing of that nature happened, because obviously you guys know how much, how destructive that transmission was, and all the pieces and shrapnel coming out of it. It did dent the floor, but it didn't, puncture the floor. So I guess this older steel is definitely still good. I know it's not as thick as the old cars, back in the day type thing, but it's probably a little bit more durable steel than some of these new cars that are just tin cans all around. So but just as a reference here, so here's the exhaust. Like, look at the dent that it put in it. So that's just one of the dents. And then if you guys remember the configuration of the exhaust, so those two dents right there, that's where the transmission cross brace goes across. Like it whacked it there too. So it's pretty crazy the amount of force that came out of this thing, you guys. But so I took that old transmission cross place and literally bananaed it. And then over there's all this stuff. And if you guys haven't seen that video, we've got on the other channel, I ended up showing you guys how to take the TCM off. There's a TCM, it's also broken, but just a lot of stuff. You guys are live in the chat here, so let me see what you guys are saying. Let me try to catch up some of your guys' comments. Motivation says, I want to do a Hellcat swap. What kind of car do you recommend I swap? Honestly, that's a pretty open-ended question. I mean, it's kind of usually people pick a car that they like and then they figure out what motor they want to put in their engine. But I mean, kind of the possibilities are endless. John says, I just bought myself a 97 Dakota extended cab. Has a rattle when you rev it up. Can't pinpoint it, but runs and shifts fine for 245,000 miles. Can't beat that, man. I mean, it could be anything with it rattling too. It's hard to say. What's up, Murda? Zach, what's up from Bama? Love the build. Thanks, man. Kilner, what's up? What part of Michigan is Roadkill? It's in Pontiac, Michigan. Matt Stang says, do a Fox body Mustang. I know, right? There's actually somebody that's doing a Hellcat swapped Fox body. Fox body? Yeah, it is. It is. Somebody's doing one right now. It hasn't been completed yet, but it's in the process. Tim says, hope you aren't stressed at all about time, boss. It'll all be sorted. It will, and I know I'll get it done. It's just one of those things where I kind of put a certain amount of pressure and stress on myself so that I know that I'll make the deadline. Because like I said, realistically, it really isn't that much time. So, you know, it's not the end of the world, but at the same time too, I do know that I gotta get some stuff done, right? It's not just gonna magically, complete itself. So it's kind of the other part of this whole thing. But yeah, I'll end up working through it. I just gotta make sure that I click off the days and make sure that I'm getting stuff done. Because like I said, even like the converter, like if I wasn't fast to kind of search for another converter, the event might not be possible. So, I mean, the built converter might not have gotten to us on time. Oh, the other thing too is I do have to thank, I don't know if he'll be watching this or not, but because I know he's going on vacation, but have to give a thanks out to Kyle Tingle with Gauge Performance. So he's been helping us out. He's the one that's helping us out with the Circle D converter. And he also just sent us out some tires so that we can actually run them at the event. So if you guys don't know, at Roadkill Nights, they're making everybody run a DOT legal tire. And if I flip this around, these are the ones that are on that were on the truck, you guys remember? So these are the Toyo TQs. Or I might not be able to see it, but where is it? Toyo Proxies TQs. So these are like a street Mickey Thompson. So these are the 315s. They're super, you know, soft tire. But if you guys look at what's on the truck, because I haven't even taken them off, there was no point. But these are the Hoosiers. These are a bias ply. These are 10, I believe 10 or 10 and a half. Yeah, 10. So here you go, 26 inches by 10 and 15 inch. But these are not a DOT tire. So Kyle has almost the identical tire, but in a DOT. They're pretty much, it's kind of a joke. Like they literally just have two lines, like two grooves on them, and then they say DOT on them. But it's pretty much the exact same tire. I think they're 10 and a halves and maybe a 27. I think they're a tiny bit taller, which will be okay because we already have a lot of gear on this. But yeah, Kyle's sending us out those tires. I just had to cover shipping, so he gave them to me for free. So I'm gonna mount those up on the other set. So I'm gonna have a bunch of different configurations for this. So we have these. I still have two more of these 15-inch Dakota wheels. I kind of don't mind the look of them, honestly, with, you know, painted black. I have two more of these, and I'm gonna mount the tires that Kyle just shipped to us. I'm gonna mount those on that, so I'll have full-on slicks. I'll have DOT rated slicks, And then I'll also have the SRT wheels that you guys already know about as well. So everything's kind of dirty. I haven't really had to clean anything, but just been getting everything sorted out. So like I said, thanks to Gauge Performance and Kyle Tingle for hooking us up with those tires. Like I said, he gave them to me for free. I just had to cover shipping. So huge shout out to him. And those are the ones that we're receiving are the ones that will be able to run at Roadkill Nights. Again, they're pretty much the exact same tire. They just have a line in them and say DOT on it. So same tire, just I guess some sort of workaround for DOT or something like that, but they are DOT rated. And let me get back to you guys. Before I answer some of the questions, I'll show you guys this too. Like, this is, as you guys know, I didn't take that engine out of the truck. That's another project that we have ready to go. So the plan is once everything kind of settles down, once this Dakota is, you know, running and stabilized and everything like that ends, probably once I relocate, this sucker is going to get thrown into, I think we're going to put that into a single cab Ram. That's really what I want to do. So I want to get a single cab Ram with an 8-speed. And then we're going to swap that in. The nice thing with that is it's mostly plug and play since it's the same generation of stuff. And then I'll walk around over here for a second with you guys. So here's the truck. And I don't know if I've really shown you guys under the hood, the aftermath. It's still all perfectly clean. All the oil is like from the driver's door back. So everything under here still looks good. I've got this transmission sitting here all cleaned up, ready to go. It's just missing the converter. And then once we get the converter in there, then I can slap that in. That's literally all I'm waiting for is the converter on that, and then I can put it in. What else? I think I was going to show you guys this. Yeah, so this is the engine that I want to put in there. And we got everything for it. I got the wiring harness. Some exciting stuff coming for sure. It's just I don't have the, not that I don't have the room, I just don't want to buy another vehicle yet because I've already got the Viper, the Dakota, the SRT 10, and I have, you know, our regular EcoDiesel over there. So I've already got 4 vehicles and I just don't need more stuff to relocate, but this thing is just sitting here ready to go. So that'll be fun. And then the other thing too, if you guys haven't forgotten, is I have this brand new 5.7 factory crate motor here. So this is a long block, brand new in the box from Mopar. Still got the part number on it. And I want to stick this into something fun. I don't know if I'm going to put this into a classic. Like I wouldn't mind doing like a D100. Or I was kind of thinking potentially if we slap this into something to get into like the drift scene. I think that would be a cool motor to throw into some sort of drift build because it's got obviously a decent amount of power and torque. If we threw that into something drift related, I think that would be kind of cool. But we got a lot of options. It's kind of cool. And like I said, I always like to remind you guys on some of the stuff that we have coming on the channel. Like I said, we're gonna have a 5.7 build project, another Hellcat build project, and of course we already have, you know, this one here. So some cool stuff on the way too. All right, I said I was gonna get to some comments. Let's see. Let me see. I don't know if I can catch up to all you guys in the comments. You guys are going live in the chat. I need some water is what I do need though. Hold on a second. I'm doing all the talking here. do. Holy, I'm trying to catch up. Tim says, whoa, John, why do angry? Don't know what that means. The Killer said, where do you learn to do all the automotive work? You're like a do-it-all type of guy. Yeah, I mean, pretty much that. You pretty much nailed it there. I've always, like, ever since I was a kid, I used to just take stuff apart. My mom used to be pissed at me. I would just, like, take stuff apart just to put it back together again. And then grew up racing dirt bikes, and then learned how to rebuild, like, 2-stroke dirt bike engines for racing. And then everything, I would say, like, 2004, everything started going 4-stroke in the motocross scene. So then I had to learn how to maintain and, you know, rebuild my 4-stroke engines. They were just, you know, single piston you know, 250F, 450, you know, motors and stuff like that. But learned how to do that, and then when I turned 16, we started playing with Hondas, which was kind of the thing back then. A lot of people were always messing with Hondas and stuff, so I started messing with, you know, Honda Civics and Del Sols and S2000s, and we were like building like Frankenstein motors, and that was kind of the scene back then. And yeah, we were just blowing stuff up, building stuff. It was kind of what we always did. And then yeah, just things progressed into this. I always wanted a Viper, got the Viper, and yeah, just been tinkering with stuff for as long as I can remember. Let's see. Trying to get to the next question. Just filtering through some of you guys are having your own chats too. Matt Sang says it sucks on the exhaust. You spent a lot of time on that exhaust. Yeah, I'm not too worried about it, honestly. It could have been somebody's ripping it. Speaking of dirt bikes over there. Yeah, I mean, it could have done a lot more damage. I mean, it definitely did do a significant amount, but I mean, it just kind of clearance itself. It's not like punctured or anything, so we can still use that exhaust. It's still okay. And I mean, I kind of built that exhaust with the intention of probably reconfiguring things at some point or the other. And ironically too, I might have to reconfigure that one pipe that got dented anyways, because we're going to the 4-inch drive shaft, so I might have to kind of move things around a little bit. So I might end up having to chop out that dented section anyways, so we'll see. That's the other reason why I want to hurry up and get the transmission in there. So because I need the transmission in there to put the new drive shaft in there to make sure that my exhaust still fits. And yeah, it's just, that's why I want to get a head start on everything, because if I were to wait till like, just say that the torque converter was going to come on Friday, like this next Friday, that would leave me with putting the transmission in on Friday, which would only leave me, like, again, I said I have to leave like next Sunday. It would leave me with like a day to put the truck together, try to build, you know, if I have to rework that exhaust, rework the exhaust, make sure that the transmission can actually program, and try to get some sort of testing in on top of all that. So yeah, that's pretty much, it's come to the conclusion that we're gonna have to throw a stock converter in it just to get things running for now, and then later on we'll put in the better stall converter. Darren says, pretty crazy, bro. Never in all my mechanical experience have I seen a trans blow apart like that. Yeah, I mean, I've seen some of the 8-speeds grenaded, but usually it's just like, so for example, I'll give you guys a reference. A lot of these single cab Rams, they have the 8HP 70, and they have a one-piece drive shaft, but the stock drive shaft has a slip in. These guys are getting it. Have a slip in the middle of the drive shaft, and usually, if you guys know anything about single cab Rams, those factory drive shafts fail and they explode. So a lot of guys were having, some guys were having like the factory drive shaft would explode, and then it would break the tail shaft of the transmission off. But that was just like the end. It would just crack the housing at the very end. Like, this went so far deep into the transmission that's why I'm led to believe something was bent in the transmission. Because again, my drive shaft balanced out. It had a slip on it, so it wasn't from launching it, and it had a vibration even before we went to the track. So something was probably messed up inside that transmission, and going to the track, and not so much the launch, but getting up to the speeds. That was probably the fastest I've ever taken. Well, it was the fastest I've ever driven that truck. And yeah, it was the speed that really did it in. Krager said, just for reference, I went 102 in the 8th and 1065 at 127 in the quarter in my RT Dakota. Nice. That's flying for sure. Krager, put what mods you had too, because I'm sure everybody would be interested to see what it takes to go that fast, because it's definitely moving. Darren says, glad you're okay. Me too. Thank you, sir. Henry says, gonna get a Kevlar blanket. Yeah, so I actually did order one. So I ordered a Jegs universal blanket for it. So that should be here in the next few days as well. So after seeing how thin the cases are on the 8-speed, I'm not gonna mess around Not that I wasn't or was before, but I just want to make sure I have a proper blanket for it, so we can set this up. So, all right. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna get to some more of your comments. I feel like I'm a floating head here. I'm gonna try to move this somewhere. Maybe I can sit here. All right. I'm just reading your comments so I can try to answer some questions. Is it a rattle or is it pinging? I think you're answering somebody else. I don't think it has to do with my stuff. Darren says I agree. It had to be the impact that took the internally damages to the trans. Yeah, because the other thing too is, you guys gotta remember that car had a ridiculous side impact to it. So I don't know, like I never took the engine and transmission out of the car, but that thing, I don't know that the original drive shaft was okay. That's the thing. Like if I was the one disassembling it and I saw that the drive shaft was broken, which I think honestly it was, because I remember seeing a bunch of like grease and I want to say ball bearings. You know what, now that I think about it, so in the box of parts that I got from the wrecking yard, the stock Hellcat drive shaft, it has a carrier bearing. So what that means is the drive shaft comes out of the transmission and goes to a bearing that's mounted to the actual frame, and then from there, then it has like kind of like a CV joint that goes to the actual differential. And I remember, I don't know if there still is, but in the box, I got like a box of just nuts and bolts from the car, and there was actual ball bearings inside that box. So, and they were large ball bearings. The only thing I could think of is they're from that carrier bearing. So that must have taken a punch, and it's, so yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm pretty much answering the question for everybody now that I think about it right now here on this live. It's kind of crazy. So like I said, there was ball bearings inside the box of bolts that I got from the wrecked car. They're all full of grease and stuff. So that means that thing got hit so hard from the side that it broke the carrier bearing, which probably ended up pushing on the transmission. Maybe it didn't break the case, but probably ended up bending that shaft that runs through the transmission. So that pretty much, I think that's it, you guys. Like, I'm not gonna call it a done deal, but I think that pretty much solves it. The fact that the carrier bearing was exploded, it must have taken a huge hit. Those crows are going crazy over there. You wanna see them? Huh, they're pissed. Look at him, he's just yapping. He's mad at that one. Okay, you guys are gonna see. You guys are kind of getting an insight as to how goofy I am off camera. All right, let me see if I can get back to your comments here. There's a ton of them. Try to catch up to you guys. John Taylor, hello to everyone. What's up, John? Thanks for being a member. Oh, and I think John sent me a message, and Matt Sang did too. So I've just been swamped, you guys, but I will get your team memberships out here shortly. So I just gotta cut the stickers and stuff like that. So if you guys don't know, when you become a member, like I send out Team Boosted Motorsports stickers and a bunch of other stickers, and then the platinum one can get a windshield banner if they choose. But for example, like Matt said, instead of windshield banner, send them some smaller ones. So I gotta send those out. I just been, as you guys can understand, I've just been going crazy over here trying to make sure everything's gonna be good to go. Oh, one other thing too, kind of exciting, is I don't know why I'm so giddy about this idea, but I'll flip this around for a second. There we go. So obviously here is the EcoDiesel, looking damn good, if I may say so myself. This truck has exceeded my expectations, you guys. I know I've said it a bunch in the videos, but like, this thing is just rock solid. Like, even though we had our issues with that, this thing never threw a light, didn't even have a hiccup. And you guys gotta remember, I bought this truck blown up, not running. I mean, yes, it would start, but I mean, the truck was just hurt severely. And to be able to drive it literally across, like we pretty much went coast to coast, across the country and back, towing that huge heavy trailer. My trailer weighs 3,000 pounds empty, and then you put 3,800 pounds in it, maybe even a little bit more. I've never weighed it since we did all the mods, but the truck's supposed to weigh 3,800 pounds. So, you know, we're at least 7,000 pounds behind the truck, and I was still getting like 14 to 16 miles per gallon I was averaging, and I wasn't like going like a turtle. So what I am thinking of doing is I kind of started to get excited about, like, you know, going on the road and doing that kind of thing. And you got to remember, so when I'm driving this, I still have to, I still got to eat out, because there's not, like, I was gone for like 3 weeks eating out. I still had to get a hotel. And yeah, I mean, I was in this thing the whole time. But what I started to think is, there's so many different events that we could potentially go to, as long as, you know, we don't have the issues that we're having now, knock on wood. But I was kind of thinking, if I got an RV, like something affordable, I could tow the trailer with the RV instead of this. I could stay in the RV. I could have somewhere to, you know, edit videos and upload videos from, and I could make my own meals from. So it would kind of save in a way. I don't think the RV would get as good of mileage, of course, as the EcoDiesel, but if I could, yeah, if I could drive an RV across the country, like, I'll give you guys an example. So we're trying to get to Roadkill, right? That's 2,300 miles away from home. And I'm trying to debate what I would do next is the thing. So there's so many different events that we could go to. And as you guys know, this YouTube thing is right now for me full-time gig. So I'm trying to make it, you know, with your guys' support, of course, but trying to, you know, do the best I can, deliver the most content, and, you know, do my part to make it exciting for you guys. But as long as I can upload videos, I can technically be anywhere. So yes, I can go all the way to Pontiac and then come all the way back, and, you know, that would be it. Or I can actually start going to different events. So for example, I think the weekend after, yeah, the weekend after Pontiac, like Roadkill Nights, there's another, it's gonna escape me now. There's another big event, a big Mopar event in Michigan. I know there's a bunch of people going out to it. So there's another big race event in Michigan, like the weekend after. And then starting the beginning of, yeah, I think the beginning of September, there's a big event in Houston. I think the first week of September. And then there's also an event at Texas Motorplex. I think that's where the We Are Mopar event is. So there's that event. And then I think it's like another week after that, it's going to be Mo Party. September 17th to 19th is going to be Mo Party. So I'm trying to debate, like, it doesn't really make sense for me to go all the way from Pontiac and then come all the way back when 2 weeks later I've got to be, you know, I was going to go to maybe a couple events in Texas, and then I was going to go over to Mo Party in Bowling Green, Kentucky. It's actually a Beach Bend Raceway, but, you know, it's pretty close to Bowling Green there. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. What I was thinking of doing, even if I don't get some sort of RV, and I'll tell you guys more on that in a second, is I was kind of thinking drive out to this event for Roadkill Nights, and I was probably going to head south, and I might end up leaving the whole rig down either at, I might drop it off at Holly, or I might just rent some sort of storage unit and just leave the whole rig in secured parking storage somewhere and just fly back, because it doesn't make sense for me to drive all the way back here and then 2 weeks later go all the way back to Texas and then to Kentucky and do that whole series out there, or those events that I was thinking. But again, that comes back to what I was saying. Technically, if I had an RV, I could literally just go out on the road for a few weeks or a month or wherever and do it that way. Only thing I was trying to find is, like, I was looking at some of the different ones, like, you know, the RVs that are like a Class C, that have kind of like that van looking front end, the Ford ones. They're mostly Fords. I mean, it is what it is. I've never really seen too many have a Dodge front end. But most of them, like 99% of them have a Ford front end. Some of them have like a Chevy front end. But I was trying to find one of those Class C motorhomes that had like a diesel in it, because that would be perfect. I think it would tow the trailer awesome. But problem I'm finding is most of them have a Ford V10 in it. Like they all seem to have a Ford V10 in it. So I think that thing would be an absolute pig on fuel is kind of the only issue with it. But I still think it would be a good idea. So I'm actually supposed to, there's a couple of them local that I was going to go look at. And like I said, I'm not rich by any means, but it's almost cheaper to buy one of those RVs than it is to buy like the truck that I just showed you. So actually it is. So the one that I was going to go look at, it's a 2000, there's a couple, but I think the one that I'm more interested in, it's a 2009. It's got a Ford front end with a V10 in it. And it's, how many feet was it again? I think it was 26 feet is how long it is. So I don't need like a huge one, just something that's comfortable. 26 feet, and it has, here's the other thing. It has a little bit higher mileage. It has 150,000 miles on it. But there's some that have like 30,000 miles, but my logic is the more that it's out on the road and driving, I think I'd rather buy one that's been moving and in use rather than just sitting around. Because some of the ones that are sitting around probably have more leaks and problems than ones that have been, you know, used frequently. So, but anyways, he's only asking like 25 grand for that thing. So I was thinking, I was gonna go look at it. If I could maybe snag it for like 23, I gotta take a look at what the tow rating is on it. I think like we're gonna be cutting it close. Again, it's gonna be, our trailer is gonna be like 7,000 pounds or so. But I don't know. The only thing is, yeah, like I agree, I want to try to get one with a diesel, but all of them have freaking those V10 Tritons or whatever. I mean, it's got to be a reliable motor. There's every single RV has it in it. Yeah, it's not going to win any races, and it's probably going to be absolutely brutal on fuel, but I'm trying to rack it up in my head that if I don't have to spend, you know, I can cook my own meals in there, so I can actually have a decent meal. As you guys know, when I was like 3 weeks on the road just eating takeout junk food for like 3 weeks, it messed my stomach up bad. So that's part of the issue. The other thing I'm thinking is like, because I don't know, like I'm sure people do that kind of stuff, but I usually eat healthy for the most part. Like, no, I'm not like a health absolute nut. Like I definitely have my fair share of burgers and fries and stuff like that, but I'm just used to eating like home cooked meals a lot of times. So when I was eating just like non-stop junk food pretty much for like 3 weeks, it messed me up good. So I'm thinking if I was to get one of those RVs or something like that, then I could, you know, I could save money by not eating out, plus I could make sure that I'm eating half decent and I'm not gonna be like 800 pounds by the time I get home. So kind of thinking that. Plus the other thing cool too is if I go to the track, like if I'm gonna be at like at the track for a 3-day event, like I could be at the track. That's the other thing that kind of sucks sometimes when you go to an event at the track. You gotta pack everything up and then you gotta go back to the hotel, and usually the hotel's not close to the track, so you gotta like commute back and forth. Whereas if I go to the track, I could literally just have my RV at the track with my trailer, all my stuff, and I don't have to go anywhere, which I think would be super cool. But let's see. Let me see you guys in the comments. I'll see if I can catch up. But yeah, that was kind of my idea. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just trying to get back to the comments where you guys are. Trying to keep up. I just read something. I thought it said something else. I'll tell you in a second. Holy moly, I don't know if I'm ever going to get to all these comments. I'm trying. Clint says, when you try to program the transmission, you should be able to get the info from the old TCM and transfer it to the new TCM. I don't think it's that. I think I just have to, I was looking at Alpha OBD, I think I just have to write the VIN to the new TCM. And then once I do that, then the different systems will talk to each other. So I'm hoping that's all it is, but we'll get to that. And then there's like adaptive relearns and stuff, so you have to set the adaptive. So it kind of like learns itself as to where it wants to shift based on, you know, whatever wears on the transmission. So I think we have to do that stuff. Tim says belly pan works. Know you want a street truck, but a little less embarrassing, and you won't slow the track down as much for prep if anything happens again. Yeah, so there's kind of a couple different things. There's not like a belly pan type situation. So there's like an engine diaper, which some of the, I can't remember what the speed is, but once you start going a certain speed, you have to do that. And I wouldn't really call it an embarrassing situation. I mean, it's kind of just, it happens to almost anybody or everybody that ever races, that they're gonna have some sort of failure at some point. And this one was kind of a freak accident, so I didn't really have anybody coming up to me mad or upset at me. I've been there too, where you're cursing because, you know, they shut the track down for half an hour, but really it wasn't, you know, regular occurrence. I mean, this exact same thing could happen in a bone stock. I mean, it is a bone stock Hellcat, so just the fact that it's in a Dakota doesn't really change anything. It was the Hellcat part that failed, not by design or anything, or, you know, my build per se. It was just luck of the draw with getting a salvage part. But yeah, I'm putting a blanket around the transmission, so that way, if it were to happen, I mean, if you end up blowing something that badly, you're not really going to catch every drip of fluid anyways, to be honest. All the different transmission blankets that I've seen, they're still, I mean, they wrap around it, but it's more to collect the scatter and to keep it self-contained. But if you're dropping, like, I literally split my transmission in half, you guys. So if it's gonna puke out like 6 quarts, there's not gonna be any sort of diaper or anything that you're gonna design or build that's gonna hold 6 quarts of fluid from leaking all over the place. Henry says, looking forward to showing the kill guys what's up with the Coda. I know. It'll be pretty cool to see what they say. Everybody so far has been pretty happy about it, so. Matt saying, what's up, what's up? Awesome on the free tires. Yeah, thanks again to Kyle with Gauge Performance for those. Can't thank him enough. Steven said, Mr. Boosted, tires look great. Thank you, sir. Joe said, Michigan, the home of the orange barrels. That's a natural habitat. The roads are like third world country. Facts. When I read that, I thought you were saying home of the orange man. I almost busted up laughing. Used to run Who's Your Dirt Bosses back in the early 90s, pulling everyone from a dig in New Orleans. I went to start bar in the shops. I'll wait on another build until you move. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. So we'll end up getting the next build once I get kind of situated wherever I end up. That's one thing, is I kind of want to get an RV right now so that it kind of makes sense for everything I'm doing right now, but just one more vehicle I'd have to move. But at the same time too, I kind of had this one more, I don't want to lose this, let me just hold my finger here because otherwise this stupid thing I'll end up losing my spot in your comments. I was kind of joking but not joking at the same time. Like, as you guys know, I'm trying to you know, get this place wrapped up so that I can, you know, make my escape, right? But at the same time too, I was almost half jokingly saying that if I had an RV, I could technically be a bit of a gypsy for a few months if once this place sells, if I don't necessarily have 100% place, you know, 100% certainty on where I want to go, or I don't find a place that I like at that moment. If I had an RV, technically speaking, I could put my other vehicles in storage, like just get a couple storage units, put my 2 vehicles in there, or whatever remaining vehicles I have, pay for a storage unit, put my, you know, some of my house stuff or whatever in the storage unit, and I could literally just go out on tour and just kind of wing it for a few months until I find like that perfect place. So, because just so you know, what I'm trying to find is, as you guys know, we got a 3-car garage, right? This, don't get me wrong, it's a cool setup, but for what we're doing at this point, it's super jammed. If you guys have ever looked, you know, at what I'm doing in here, and you guys have ever watched the videos, like, it's pretty tight in here now with everything going on. So what I'm trying to find is something that has like a half decent house on it. Like, it doesn't have to be a castle or anything like that. Like, I'm pretty humble in that, but something that already has like a shop on it, ideally, because I've seen them come up and, you know, for sale and whatnot. I'm just not ready to jump on anything just yet. But something that has a shop already on it, that way we can just you know, relocate and I can just get to work. So rather than have to buy a place that's just got a little garage like this and then build a shop and then, you know, wait 6 months to build something, like I'd rather just have something turnkey. So kind of what I'm looking for. Again, I'm gonna have to be ready for that to happen, but at the same time too, if this place gets sold and I don't see that ideal place like I'm talking about, and I think I want to be kind of centrally located. I think it'd be good for all these different events that we're going to. If I'm somewhere in the heart or the middle of the US, then I can kind of branch out. Right now I'm on, you know, I'm on the West Coast, and every time these events come up, I'm like having to go way further than if I was just centrally located. But I'm just thinking that'd be kind of cool. I could have that as an option so that once this place sells, if I don't find anything that I'm really excited about, I could just literally just stay in the RV for a few months and just keep looking, and once I find something I could just go with that. And hopefully at that point this freaking pain in the butt will be reliable enough that we can go have some fun and hit some shows and do all the cool stuff with it. Let's see, let's get back to you guys. Darren says, good thing that you bought that EcoDiesel so you could tow that trailer and get awesome fuel mileage on these big trips. Yeah, like I said, I was the same as you guys, honestly. Like, everybody said that the EcoDiesel was trash, don't get it, it's a problem, and, you know, I don't want to be caught with my foot in my mouth here, but, I mean, so far, like, obviously I'll keep you guys up to date if anything changes, but I'm super happy with it. And, I mean, the engine has a 3-year, 100,000-mile warranty on it, so... I mean, God forbid if anything ever happens, at least I'm covered, right? So, kind of cool. Like I said, I don't know. Honestly, I'll give you guys my opinion. If I don't get a bigger trailer than what I have now, if anything were to ever happen to this truck, again, knock on wood, but if anything were ever to happen to this, I would probably honestly go and get a 5th gen version of this with a full warranty and just rip it. Like, I don't know. I really like that motor for, like I said, it's not a race truck. And we have the go fast stuff, but for what it does, like, I really enjoy that thing. Oh man, I gotta catch up to you guys in the comments. I'm getting so far behind. I think I'm still behind by miles. Let me try to rip through some of these comments, you guys, because I'm getting way behind. Steven says, yeah, you might need to find a bigger garage wherever you move to. That's the plan. I love those engine crates. I got a reman from Advanced Auto and it came in the exact same crate. Put the 5.7 in an old 76 Power Wagon. Love that body style. I'm not big on the Power Wagon. I know I'm probably like the odd man on that one, but I'm not big on those trucks. I probably do like a, I don't know, like a patina style thing. I don't know. I like that, you know, like those old Bel Airs. Like it has like that kind of like baby blue looking color and like the patina look. I would do something like that, honestly. Ollie hasn't offered Terminator X Max. Oh, somebody's got some straight pipes. Getting it. I think it was a gardener. He had all like stuff in the back. Why a 5.7 and not the 6.4? I just happened to come across a good deal on that 5.7, so that's why I have that in the box. Definitely better than stock, especially for your application. Have you checked rear main seal on engine? Which engine do you mean? At some point, will you be changing over to a fuel cell and delete stock gassing? Yeah, probably. I kind of want to put the fuel cell where the factory spare tire carrier goes. But for now, it's fine the way it is. 727, 46 will explode just like your trans if the sprag breaks and it overspins the rear drum. Stock bottom end 59360 EQ heads, M1 4-barrel, FMB 58 throttle body, cams 230 on 114 precision turbo. Oh, there it is. There's the key at the end of all that. Precision turbo 67, 68. That's sick. But yeah, that's awesome, man. That's cool. So you're running a stock bottom end with EQ heads. That's a pretty good combo for sure. So I don't know if you're familiar with Jason's build. We're trying to figure out what to do on his truck soon. He's got stock bottom end. We put Indy X heads on it, but he also does have Edelbrock heads, I believe. I think they're, yeah. So I don't know. And we still have that Pro Charger that used to be on this for like a week before that blew up. So we're probably gonna do something with his too. So we got a lot of stuff on the go, you guys. It's definitely not a lack in content or builds coming up for sure. Darren says, really nice for a change, you doing the live stream earlier. As for me, with the time difference in Kingston, yeah, so you guys are 3 hours ahead over there. But yeah, that's why I figured I'd do a little bit earlier, just to kind of give people a chance on the East Coast to get a chance to join in with us. 46 RU, John Cope built manual valve body with trans brake and a lot of built parts. Craiger, you must have had to build a cage on your truck, right? That's my next thing, is I gotta contact some people that are more familiar with building cages on pickup trucks, because that's gonna be our next thing that I'm gonna need to do. Zach says, so are you gonna put the truck on the dyno? I will eventually. Not really a priority at the moment, but yeah, eventually we will once we get some time. Greetings from Aurora. Thanks for the new throttle body. What a difference it has made. A couple days I've had it. Thank you again. Awesome. So Preston grabbed one of our 85 millimeter true bore throttle bodies for the 13 and up Hemis. So cool to see that he's liking it. Like I said, a bunch of people running those. A lot of people are super happy with them, but they definitely don't stick around for long. I don't exaggerate when I say they're going to be gone fast. Ben, what's up? I'm at work, so can't stay, but just saying hi and hope all's well. Thank you, sir. You planning to bring the Hellcat up here in Canada at the track? Not anytime soon, especially with the borders being closed. I have all my families up there too, and they can't even come down and visit, and vice versa. I'm not trying to go up there and get trapped up there. So, yeah, it's kind of been tough that way. I know, like, my family wants to come down and visit and stuff, and all that, but they're not able to, and I'm not able to go back up there because I don't want to have to go through all that quarantine nonsense. So kind of a stupid situation, but yeah, I don't plan on going up there for racing anytime soon. The crows are waiting to eat you when you're bouncing out of California. Hopefully soon. So plan is we're gonna try to make Roadkill Nights. Then I'm gonna probably end up flying back, leaving the whole rig somewhere, because I'll have about 2 weeks or so of downtime, and I think I'm gonna come back here, try to get this, I just got a bunch of just random house stuff to kind of button up, just things I want to kind of clean up, tidy up, and just get in order so that I could list this place for sale, and then I can go to those few events that are gonna be over there in Texas, and then Bowling Green, or Kentucky, I should say, Beach Bend Raceway, and then yeah, after that we'll start getting into the fall, and I can really focus on getting the move done. My comments just ran away on me. Let me see if I can get back to them here. Awesome build. Watch from the beginning to the end. Thank you, sir. We're still not done. Still a lot of little stuff, but we're definitely a lot further along the build, and we're doing pretty good as far as time-wise too. I know a lot of guys are asking, like, how long you've been working on it. You've been working on it for like a year or two. How many years have you been working on it? But we're still under a year working on it. We started this project in October, like end of October last year. So we're running at a pretty good pace, considering I'm just like a one-man show here getting this stuff done in my garage. I've seen 2 shows on the Eco, and both motors ate the main bearings. Yeah. So there is, how do I say this without, oh, that's weird. If I go like this, my phone completely changes the colors. Oh, what the heck? It's freaking me out. Yeah, there is some weird stuff I can't really say. Unfortunately, most of the stuff I tell you guys, but I can't say too much on the EcoDiesel, but just know that I've done some stuff to prevent it from doing the inevitable. So I can explain a few things to you guys. So part of the reason why a lot of the EcoDiesels have those failures is, I don't even know if I can really talk about it, to be honest. Anyways, long story short, the oil gets very dirty with soot. very fast with the original tune that's on those things. And a lot of guys will try to stretch out the mileage on a single change, oil change. They'll try to go. Let me turn this out. It's freaking me out, the color change. But they'll try to go for a while with the factory oil change. Like most people be like, oh, it's a diesel, you know, I can go 10,000 miles on one oil change. So those are usually that was, I don't know if it still is, but that was like the factory recommended service interval. So if you do that and you did that on the original factory oil, there would be so much soot in the oil that it would eat the main bearings, and that's why a lot of the mains were going. So for one, I am doing my oil changes much more frequently. For me, it might be overkill, but I'm saving so much on the cost of fuel that I don't care. So for example, how many miles did I put on this thing? I think I put about 5,000 miles on it, and I'm gonna dump the oil again. So could I get more on it? Probably, but I'm just gonna end up changing it. And like I said, it's just the fact that I'm getting so much good, fuel mileage on it, that I'm just gonna end up dumping the oil and doing that instead. So yeah, probably end up dumping it again pretty soon. But yeah, that's part of it there. And then the other thing too is, like I said, the factory tune does kind of gum up the oil quite a bit, so I'll leave it at that. Let me see if I can get to you guys in the comments here. Holy, I don't know if I can keep up with you guys here. Steven says, have you considered finding a different tune or professional tuner for the Hellcat? I know the races are coming again soon, but just a thought. Yeah, so I do, I have that covered. Again, one of those things, I don't really like to keep secrets from you guys, but it's one of those things the tuner has chosen not to be disclosed on that one. So yeah, but just know we are going to work on it. I'll let you guys know like when it is or it isn't tuned, but yeah, that one I'm working with a few people to get that thing up to spec. So, but right now it is, oh, what the heck, freaking bug just went by 100 miles an hour. It is stock though right now, so we're still factory tuned at the moment. What gear ratio is in the Hellcat? You probably mentioned in other videos, probably missed it. That thing is a dragon. It's a 323, so we did that build with gear effects. So check out the build with gear effects. You can see the whole rear end build on that. Hellcat swap an RV. Imagine, that'd be crazy. John Taylor says, I can't wait till you get back from Roadkill Nights for stickers. I'll probably end up getting them out before then. I'm just trying to put a dent in all the work that I have to do right now, just so that it's a little bit more situated, that's all. Ruben says, the Dakota build is sick. I have an O2 with a 5.9, and it's been cool to see you working on it and swapping it. I love the single cab look, but I'm a crew cab. Nice. Right on, man. Ron says, the guy making your aluminum drive shaft going to keep the measurements on file to your shafts. I'm going to need one at some point, and if he is... Yeah, so Ronald, if you want, probably my steel drive shaft he's going to be selling that one. So my steel drive shaft didn't get damaged in that whole mess, but he already checked it and it's still balanced out. So I think he's taking my drive shaft in on trade, and he was going to try to sell the steel one. I might, so if you're interested in the steel one, it's a 3.5-inch steel with a slip on it. So that one might be for sale from him. But what I might try to do is I might try to just ask him if I can pay him a little bit more just to keep it as a potential spare, just in case anything happens to my aluminum one. But I haven't decided yet. I might bug him for it as a spare, but if not, he'll be selling that steel one. But yeah, he'll have everything on file. Cameron, how do you get the Dakota to pass smog? I don't know, you tell me. Steven, hi man, what's up? Robert, buy a Class C RV and EcoDiesel swap it. Can you imagine? I would definitely, yeah, it would definitely have to be a Cummins in that thing. That's pushing it for the Eco. V10 is trash, don't buy it. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's not by choice. It's kind of just all that's available. So, Ronald says, all you gotta do to pass smog is run catalytic converters, but his is built to race off-road. Yes, sir. What else? The Ford V10 is horrible, bro. I concur with the comment above. I know, like I said, it's not my first pick, but find me an RV that doesn't have that in it, and it's probably gonna be $1 million. I was trying to, like, not to be cheap, but I was trying to find something like in the 20-ish thousand dollar range. Even if it, jumps up into the 30s, probably try to swing it, but I can't find anything. It's so hard to find. There's another guy that says he has, well, I mean, it's an absolute POS, but he's got one that has a Power Stroke in it, but he wants like $36,000 for like an 04 or 05. Like, it's still big money. So I don't know. Even if, like, honestly, even if I got one that had the V10 in it and just ripped that around for half a year or something, like, I know it'll have enough power. It's just whether, it's gonna drink fuel. That's the only thing. 12 valve Cummins swap something. I would be down for something like that. I actually found like this. The guy wants some stupid price from it, but it has a second gen. It's like a 1995 second gen Ram front end, and then the back half is all like RV. It's ugly as hell, but it's a 95. But that would be kind of cool. It's got a Cummins in it, of course. Let me try to rip through more of your comments. And I cannot catch up to you guys. Find a cheap pusher with a Cummins. The only thing with the pusher is I'm gonna have to get a new license. So I was trying to get something that I could potentially take out to Roadkill. So I was trying to find something for this week because I got all those events coming up. So like I said, even if, like, honestly, even if I got one that has the V10 in it, it's not gonna be like a forever thing. If I rip around with that for like a year or something and then I sell it, as long as I don't, spend too much, I should be okay. Darren says, do you research on the Ford V10? As I follow a couple people of YouTube channels that had them, and they both blew up with very low mileage, not towing anything, and they had problem with getting certain parts. Yeah, so part of the thing with that is, that was kind of going back to my other point. I think I would rather get an RV that has more miles on it because things are likely to have been kept moving. If you get like, 2005 RV that has 30,000 miles on it, that thing is sat forever. And people a lot of times, like, think about that. If that's like a 2005 and it's got 30,000 miles on it, and somebody changes the oil every 5,000 miles, that means in 15 years it might have had, what, I guess 6 oil changes, maybe. So I kind of just look at stuff like that, versus if you get one that has like over 100,000 miles, the thing has had to have been somewhat maintained to extend into that mileage range. So kind of just my take. That's the other problem with these Vipers. So my Viper, I drive it, I use it. I don't even know how many oil changes I've done at this point, but versus, like, mine has 0 drips, 0 leaks. You look underneath it, there's nothing underneath it. But some people that have like these unicorn ones that have like 3,000 miles on it, they have like nothing but problems. And I've heard a bunch of people say it, that they would rather buy, people that are familiar with Vipers, they would rather buy a Viper that has like 50,000 miles on it than has like 3, because the 3,000 mile ones, because they've never been heat cycled and used and maintained, they end up being absolutely brutal as far as maintenance goes. Time to go to AutoZone. I agree. Let's go. The V10, they go bang in 20 or 30,000 miles. The one that's I was gonna go look at has 150,000, so we'll see. Robert says, nice truck. Thank you, sir. Definitely try to find something without a Ford V10. It'll crap out on you faster than a 5.4. I don't know. We'll see what I can find. Trust me, I'm looking, you guys. It's just hard to find. I know someone with a tow truck who replaced like 3 inches within 120,000 miles. It's an F650. What gear ratio are we running? I already answered that. I'm all Dodge. KOA cramp. I can't even talk. KOA campgrounds rock. That'd be kind of cool. When are you bouncing? I think I answered that. The 7.4 gas is pretty more reliable than the V10. Bro, just moved here in Ontario, Canada. No, thank you. Been there, done that. Did you ever get the speedo work? I mean, dude, come on. My transmission's on the ground. Do you think I got the speedo working? I know someone with, I don't know why, just to go back to that, not to pick on you too much, but I don't know why you guys care so much about the speedo. Like, seriously. Like, we have a Hellcat swapped with Dakota. Like, who cares if the speedo works? Trust me, I'll get it working eventually, but it's not high on my list. Like, as long as the truck runs drive it and doesn't do that, I could care less about the speedo, but I will get to it. But I've never, that's like, I think that's one of those popular questions is the speedo. What, did you get it working? Did you get it working? Who cares? It runs, it drives, it works. Figure the rest out. If you're looking at, let's see. I know someone with the EcoDiesel, he got rid of it within 4,000 miles. You know people that have I'm starting to notice a trend. DIY Shane or Sean, you have, all your friends have problem trucks. Your one friend had a tow truck that blew up 10 times. Your friend had EcoDiesel he got rid of. You need some new friends, brother. I'm just teasing. Lawrence, if you're thinking RV, look at the Super C. You will never have the capacity on a Class C. Yeah, that's the problem, is they're going to be cutting it close. I just, like I said, I ended up moving, so for me to sit there and go and try to upgrade my driver's license here, and I just don't even have the time to go do it unless I ride dirty for the next few weeks or whatever, just get something and cross my fingers, don't go over 55. But yeah, I would have to upgrade my license to be able to drive something bigger. Hi, I have a red lightning bolt in RAM. Changed everything else. What can it be? Those ones can be a lot of things. So I know the one you're talking about, but it doesn't. It could be a lot of things. It's usually just an error. Like for example, this EcoDiesel had that red lightning bolt when I first turned it on, and I had to do a forced regen for it to go away. But it really depends. It could be anything on yours. I'm considering a throttle body on my 07. Any recommendations? Have cold air? I'm not too sure. I know, what's the name of it again? Fastman does a lot of them. Probably has one for years. I haven't messed with the 04 and up throttle bodies. 04 to 12s are all the same. But those ones are sealed, so a little bit harder for me to do. Dial tops will be cool, but I think the power to weight ratio is what's gonna smack away a ton of competition once the Hellcat is running right. I agree. When is that hood coming? I haven't checked into it, honestly. You guys already know, like, my priorities are to get this thing working, but I haven't looked into the hood just yet. Reggie Carter says, how you doing? Not too bad, man. You too. The mission's what kills also. You look like Vincent Valentine. You guys really, I don't even know who that is. Subway is full of inedible crap. I know, I found that out. Steven says, challenge accepted. Loves the truck, sick build. Thank you, sir. Hey, curious if you have any more projects planned building another Magnum base engine, possibly fuel injector for weight. Not on the Magnum platform. Everything is probably for the next little bit, at least as far as I can tell or see, is going to be Hemi platform, so Gen 3 Hemi stuff. There's just way more out there. You guys got to remember, where is this? We've got some sponsors behind us too, and they're making a lot of products for Gen 3 Hemis too, so kind of benefits everybody to deal with the stuff that's a little bit newer and that most people are using, and that there's products and parts available for. So yeah, probably going to be sticking with that stuff. I kind of prefer it, honestly. It's a little bit easier to make power, in my opinion, on the newer stuff. And I don't know, I enjoy that stuff a little bit more too. David says, buy an old school bus and build the living quarters. I could, if I had time, I could. 6.0 power stroke or taking time off. Shane, you say every engine is gonna blow up. I'm starting to see a trend, man, I swear. Reggie says, can you do it to my car? No, we're not doing, I'm only messing with my own stuff at the moment, but and someday I would like to maybe open up a shop, but I don't know, with the way things are going too, with all these shops getting huge fines, I don't think I would want to at the moment. You should add a 150 notch shot for that extra little push of the end, just in case. I could, I really could. That's one of the, you guys can see. Will it focus? Right there. It's on the list. Is it? Can you see it? I don't know where it is. It's on there though. It's on there. I promise it's on there. So we could throw some NOS on there, but I mean, I would be honestly pretty happy if we just got down the track without braking. let's start small here for now. State your name in the vids. Love the channel. We got an officer in here. My name's John, anyways. I think I've told a bunch of you guys know that by now, but John says, why don't you ever drive the SRT10 truck at all? I've had that truck since new, and I've put pretty much every mile that's on it, so I will drive it. I don't know. It's kind of like a keepsake, I guess. It's under the cover. Once this thing's, not an issue and stuff, I mean, I've just been enjoying the EcoDiesel, which I just got not too long ago. It's just super comfortable. It's easy to get in. I don't have to worry about it. Yeah, it's a driver right now. But like I said, once this settles down, this is kind of whatever, then we'll get into more like enjoyable videos where I can kind of road test some stuff for you guys and show you guys some stuff. Ronald says, you don't need a different license for a diesel pusher, brother. My 80-year-old mother-in-law here drives hers to Arizona on a regular license. Don't even need an air brake endorsement. I thought you do, though. I thought you need like a Class A for some of these things. I'll have to check, but I swear you need a different license for them. Because I think Class C is just a regular license, and then that's what like the regular motorhomes are. Just cover up the gauge cluster from here on out. What haters, I know, right? Who cares about speedometer? That's what a smartphone's for. Exactly, that's what you use Waze for. Hope all the parts fall into place. Were you stressed? Yes, sir, me too. The one that had the trans explode attached to it, that had to shake the engine. Okay, I think I finally caught up to you guys in the comments. Holy smokes. Put one of those motors in a mini Austin. That'll be sick too. The SRT10 is diamond. You polish it and keep it for special occasions. Yeah, so pretty much like it's not my daily or anything like that, but there's just a few things I kind of have to do to that truck. Nothing crazy, but I want to change the fluids all in it. The last time I changed the fluids were when I drove it from Canada all the way to here. So it's definitely due for fluid change. I have the stuff here. It's just I think you guys know how busy I am with more important things right now. So it's just I know that the SRT10 is in one piece. There's no issues with it. I just don't want to. I just don't need any more work at the moment, so I'm just kind of enjoying some stuff. I finished putting the Viper back together, so that was another thing that was just kind of like a cloud over my head. Like I just don't like things in limbo, so I had the Dakota in a million pieces, and I also had this still in pieces from when I ripped the supercharger off before I took off. So I like things to be just ready to go at any moment, so I ended up giving the Viper a little bit of love off camera. Put it back together, did an oil change on it, so she's all back naturally aspirated and stuff again. So that way it's just I got my fun little car show vehicle back together if I want to take a day off or something like that. John says, how much total build cost to you to the Hellcat swap? That's the thing. It's hard for me to throw a number for you guys, because if one of you guys were gonna do it, it'd be completely different. Like the amount of hours that I have into that are absolutely countless. So if you had to pay somebody to do it, it's gonna be big bucks to do what we've done here. Just because the amount of hours you would have to pay somebody to do. So, but just parts alone, I would have to say like comfortably you're gonna and. Actually, you know who would be able to answer that even better than me is, I'm gonna mess up his screen name, but there it is. Ronald Mopar or No Car. He's trying to do something very similar to us, so, and he's been, doing his own build as well. But if I were to throw a number in it, I would say safely you're gonna spend about $30,000 easy. Because by the time you get an engine, transmission, the modules, all the supporting parts, whether it's exhaust pieces, engine mounts, you're gonna need a bunch of different stuff, all sorts of fittings. Yeah, by the time you start getting into it and get it done properly, and it never ends, right? Like at what point do you say that this is or isn't related to the build? So for example, once you make it go that fast, do you count into the fact that you're gonna have to do a full brake conversion like we did to make it stop after the fact? I mean, technically it's not part of the engine swap, but it's kind of a necessity because you're going to need better brakes to be able to slow the thing down. So yeah, I would say you're going to be looking at least 30 grand to get all that stuff, and then whether you're gonna do it all yourself or you're gonna be paying somebody to do it. But I don't know. I have no regrets. That's for damn sure. That's for damn sure. Let's see. The Kodiaks are the best way to go for towing and living in, but they are still high even with high miles. Matt Stang, which one do you mean as far as the Kodiaks? I don't know if I know which one you're talking about offhand. Steven says maybe get a Class B just to be safe. They're super easy and affordable to get. You can drive anything under 26 feet and under 36,000 pounds. I don't know how that works with a trailer on it though, because my trailer alone is 24 feet long. So, but I'm pretty sure, like, literally, like when it starts saying that the different classes, I'm pretty sure you need the different license. I could be wrong. Matt says, if I were to ever have money for a Viper in the future, which Viper would you recommend? I would probably say try to get a 99. That's the last year for the forged internals. It's probably one of the best years is the 99. It got the new interior. So there was an interior refresh in 99, and 99 was the last year for the forged internals. Other than that, I would say if you got big bucks, I would say get the Gen 5, which started in 2013. So I would try to get either the 99, but I mean, you could always, I would get 96 to 99, 99 being the better year in my opinion, since it got the newer the newer interior, but kept the forged internals. But there's forged internals from 96 to 99. So, and then if you're not going to get those years, I would say get the 13 and up. Nelson says, when will you paint the truck? I was supposed to, I probably had this not happen and had Roadkill not happen, I was going to be getting it painted, you know, in and around now, but kind of got derailed, so I'll probably get painted in the fall after all these shows and stuff. Steven says the Hellcat is one of kind. Guys, I've done a little math myself, and from what John has been comfortable in saying, with labor, Mr. Boost is in 50-60 range easily. Yeah, like I said, if I had to, like, you guys gotta remember, you know, some of the parts are sponsored and stuff like that too. But like, if you guys were to go out and buy a lot of stuff, and don't get me wrong, it's cost me a lot of money to build it as well, but I would say you're gonna be looking at spending, like, to do the Hellcat swap. If you want to do it on a budget, you can go and get a junkyard 5.7 for $1,500, and you can go and pick up the Hooker Blockhart engine mount kit for, it's really affordable. Like, I was super surprised to see the prices on it. Like, it's only a few $100 for the mounts and stuff like that. So you could technically, like, if I wanted to, you could almost go and do a swap like that for, hey, dude, give me a second, I'm literally live right now. Yeah, no worries. Probably, like, give me, like, maybe half an hour or so. I don't have it here, unfortunately. It's all done online, but give me a few minutes. All right. Yeah, some people just walked up. But yeah, like, you could do like a junkyard build for like I would say under $5 grand, because you could probably get like a 5.7 junkyard build for like $1,500, $2 grand, and then you could get like the motor mounts and stuff for, you know, a few $100, and you could literally do like a sick junkyard build and do it that way. Let's see what's next. Brent says, nice swap. Now let's get the transmission fixed. I know, right? So if you guys are just dropping into the live just now, I kind of laid it out a little bit earlier. So I did a bunch of stuff. Like I said, not really super stressed out about the situation, but at the same time, I'm just I've been in certain situations before to make sure that I'm gonna get things done in time. So as you guys know, we took my converter that came out of my blown transmission, and we ended up putting it in a box, shipped it to Circle D. I was debating whether to run it, We shipped it off to Circle D. They're going to build a stall converter, so it's going to be a better performance converter. And then from there, I was kind of a little bit, I was starting to get a little bit worried whether we were going to get our built converter back on time. Again, just real quick, Roadkill Nights is on the 14th. I have to be there on the 13th, which is not this, obviously not this Friday or this one coming, but the one after. So I have to, and it's 2,300 miles, so I have to leave by like next Sunday. So I have to have this truck with that transmission back together by next Sunday. So I have like a week to get things ready to go, ready to load up in the trailer to travel 2,300 miles. So I want to make sure obviously that everything's good. So I need to get a little bit of testing in before driving all that way, because there's no point in going all the way over there if things don't work or if things are going to break. So I scrambled a little bit and I ended up finding a stock converter, and super thankful. The guy was actually, he's familiar with the channel, he's watched the build. So he asked me if, he's like, is your truck blue any chance? And I said yes, and he was like, no way, I watch your channel. So he ended up hooking up huge. He's overnighting me a stock converter, so it'll be here Monday. So I'm probably just gonna slap a stock converter in there, and we're gonna go ahead and just slap this thing together, because I gotta make sure that we get this thing together on time. So hopefully that answers some of your questions a little bit. I may have had my, it's just a cell phone I'm holding, so it might have been my hand that was over that if the audio was low for a minute. Just catching up with you guys. So yeah, plan is converter will get here Monday. Unless I hear otherwise from Circle D, like I'm gonna have it the next day or something, I'm just gonna throw this thing back together on Monday. And then Driveshaft, the new aluminum Driveshaft should be ready on Monday as well. So I'll get that back together. That'll give me a chance to see if I need to reconfigure the exhaust at all with the, it's only gonna be like a 1/4 of an inch on each side as far as the drive shaft, so only be a little bit bigger, because we're going from a 3.5 inch to a 4-inch drive shaft. So I gotta see if I need to reconfigure the exhaust at all, make those changes. I also have to make sure that I can program the TCM, since it's gonna be a completely new transmission control module. So I gotta make sure that works. Then we gotta get some testing in, make sure there's no vibration anymore. I gotta get those Hoosier tires that are on their way right now in the mail that my buddy Kyle Tingle hooked us up with. Again, thanks to Kyle with Gauge Performance, but I'll give him a proper shout out once we get those in a video here soon. But he sent out those tires free of charge for us. He wants to see us get there, and he's working with us as well, so I'll definitely give him a proper shout out in the video once the tires get here. But I had to get those tires mounted on some rims that I have, and yeah, I gotta get this thing ready to go. And I still have to do, I want to do a little bit of maintenance on the Ram too. So I dropped the fluid in the Ram before I did all this towing. Like I said, I put like at least 5,000 miles of towing on it. So I dropped the fluid. I just changed out the fluid because I didn't have time to get a new pan and filter, but a new pan and filter just showed up. So I kind of put like 5 quarts of new fluid into the Ram 8-speed transmission so that it kind of worked some new fluid through it. Because if you guys don't know, the thing holds like almost 9 quarts, but when you drain it, you only get about 4.5 to 5 out of it. So I drained it. I put like I think 5 quarts of fresh fluid into it. Been running it for the last 5,000 miles. Now I'm gonna drain it again. Do a filter change and new fluid in it again, so the transmission will be good again to drive another 2,300 miles, I think, if I don't get that RV that I was talking about. So let's see. Nell said, if your trans blows again, you think it would be the new gears you got put in? Yeah, I don't plan on having that happen. Thank you. I don't plan on having that happen, but hopefully it doesn't happen anyways. I don't think, like I said, if I put this thing together this week, test it, and for some reason it's vibrating, if I can't fix the vibration before you know, before next Sunday, then I'm probably gonna have to pull the plug on Roadkill. That's like worst case scenario, but I'm thinking, like I said, I don't want to blow another transmission because it's gonna. I mean, it's already expensive, but I can't kind of play those games because that's gonna be crazy expensive. So Matt Sang, he just donated $10. Thank you, sir. Said Hellcat for the win. I'm trying, man. I'm doing my best to make it happen. I've got big dreams on a small budget over here, but just know that I'm sinking into every penny that's coming in from YouTube right now back into this whole adventure. So I think you guys can see that I'm spending a lot of money to make this all happen. So yes, I do get, you know, some money from YouTube, but at the same time, it's not like we don't have like the same amount of subs that some of these big channels have. They're like, you know, a few 100,000 subscribers. Hopefully we get there soon. We're making some waves here on the internet, you guys. So with your guys' support, we're getting a lot of attention. Let me take a quick chug of this drink that Amanda just brought me so that I'm not dying of thirst here. If you guys have never tried doing this before, slightly off topic, but this tastes amazing. It's a drink that I came up with her. If you take, you know, when your bananas like go like kind of almost brown, they're like kind of all freckled looking. Take them out of the peel, throw them in a Ziploc bag, and just throw them in the freezer, and then throw it in a blender with water, and you have like the most amazing, like literally this is just frozen bananas mixed with water mixed. It's like the most refreshing drink in the world. But anyways, some people want to see the interior, so I'll show you guys. I'm gonna just take one more swig of it. So again, thanks to Matt Stang. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get this thing running. Like I said, this is missing from there. Long shot. Being I'm not familiar with Hellcat trans, can you tell me what the final drive ratio is? I'm not sure offhand, honestly. I just tried to get the rear end ratio as close to performance. A lot of guys will run like a 309 in the rear, and the closest I could get was a 323. So like I said, I'm just, honestly, like I just kind of slammed this in here, and I'm getting up to speed with all these Hellcat setups as much as you guys are right now. So we will be putting a smaller pulley and doing a bunch of performance stuff to this soon, but I just haven't gotten there yet. I haven't done all the research on what guys are running these days. Yo, can we see the interior? Yes, you can. So, might be a little dark, but here it is. We got the Corbeau seats. I still got to do the door panels. I was actually going to maybe tackle that this weekend. So, there she is. So, and I have, this is the sad part, I have that up. Not that it made much of a difference, but we have that pulled up even though it's got no transmission attached to it, because we were trying to see if we could push it in here, but yeah, it was pretty ugly. Darren says, how do the brakes feel on the Hellcat since you changed them over? They're better, but honestly, I think I still have to do something different with the Master. So let me explain something in a second. I'll flip this around. Let me get situated here. And let me make sure I'm not gonna run out of battery. That's the other thing I'm making sure. Give me 1 second here. I don't even know if it'll tell me. Okay, I'm back. I just want to make sure we're good on battery. All right, I've got 18%. Maybe I'll put it over here, actually. Let's do that. I'm going to plug this thing in so we don't run out. Since we still got a bunch of people in here, we'll keep the live rolling. Let's see. So let me throw this up here. And, oh, you guys fell down. Bear with me for a second. Charge it up. Okay. So, I think I was going to answer one of your questions. Yeah, so as far as the brakes, obviously we've got sufficient calipers and rotors on there, but it doesn't still feel the greatest. I mean, obviously it stops and it stops pretty good, but I don't think we're still seeing the full braking potential. I think that master cylinder, I need to do something different with. If you guys remember, I did put the Hellcat master cylinder on there, and I had configured everything to run with the Hellcat master cylinder. And at the time when I tried it, it did not want to work with the Dakota brakes. But at the time that I tried the Hellcat master, I had the original Dakota front small single piston calipers on the front, and I had the drums on the rear with the tiny little pistons. And now the rears have significantly larger piston calipers, and the front we got a 4-piston on. And the fronts are Brembos, which should match up to the Brembos that we had. You know, it should be all relative, right? So the Hellcat Master is designed to push Brembo 4-piston calipers as well. So technically speaking, I should be able to put the Hellcat Master back on it and have adequate brakes, because right now that was part of the thing. Some of my friends were kind of joking around when I went to go do the burnout, and I mean, I barely got to test this thing, so when's the time that I ever really got a chance to try a burnout? But when I was at the track and I went to do a burnout, I could barely get the front wheels to stop pushing the truck when we were doing the burnout. So I'm gonna try to, that's the other thing I want to try to do this week, is try to swap out the Master again, try to put that Hellcat Master back on and see if it works. And hopefully it does, but that's just one other thing I gotta tackle as well. Steven says, I push your channel everywhere I go, brother. We're gonna get you those subscribers, and we're gonna keep this channel on fire. Thanks, man. Like, I'm doing everything I can on my part. It's up to the YouTube gods whether they're gonna promote our stuff. So the last few videos and this week has been good, which is, you know, a plus, and thank you guys for that. Because like I said, I think I told you guys at the beginning of this live, like, I've been dropping a bunch of cash just for all this. And even that trip, right, like, that wasn't free. So I had to drive all the way across the country, you know, to go to those shows, to make it to Carlisle, you know, hotels, food, fuel, and yeah, made it all the way back. And then on top of that trip, on top of 3 weeks of hotels, food, fuel, we also threw into the mix a $3,000 transmission. So yeah, the increased traffic this week is definitely helping, but I can't say that it's paid for the transmission necessarily. So but we'll get there. I mean, I think we're just about to turn over to 90,000 subscribers, and we're doing pretty good. So right now we're averaging about 200 new subscribers a day. So we should be able to finally crack like 100,000, I think, in a few months, which will be cool. But I'm trying to make it to the big times here, boys. So I mean, I'm already doing this full time, but the more support we get from you guys, the more you guys can share the videos. You know, make sure you give them the thumbs ups, and when you guys do that, even if you guys drop a comment on the video, like YouTube, like I said, it's pretty much like a robot thing, but YouTube looks at all that interaction with the video, whether it's, you know, giving a thumbs up or if it's commenting and all that stuff. The YouTube algorithm looks at all that stuff, and if people are engaging with a certain video, it'll start suggesting it to other people that are watching other car videos. So it's kind of just what we got to do to get this thing going to the next level. Because like I said, if I can turn this thing up, you know, instead of my, you know, little home 3-car garage, if I can get into a, you know, bigger, more official shop, so I have more space, so we can park some of the nicer things that we're not working on, like the SRT10 or the Viper. Like, I don't necessarily need that right next to something that I'm, you know, working on, like welding on this right next to, you know, these nice vehicles that are sitting here. Like, I have more space to work on stuff and more space to kind of store some stuff. We can start these other projects. Like I said, I've already pretty much committed to that with having, you guys can already see it, but, you know, having that other Hellcat engine over here, like, I'm committed to doing it. And we already have that other 5.7 motor in the box that you guys saw. So either way, we'll end up making it happen. But yeah, it's pretty exciting stuff that we got on the go here. Let me see what you guys are saying. Eric says, you should do custom painted headlights and taillights. Yeah, maybe. Again, that's just one of those things. I kind of just want to get the main stuff all sorted out, and then we can kind of do the fancier stuff as we go too. Matt Stang says the interior is badass. Can't wait to see the hood on it. Yeah, I'll have to hit up my buddy. I don't know if he finished it. I'm assuming if he did finish it, he would have sent me some pictures, but I don't know that it'll be done within a week. I can ask him and find out. I have a 2018 regular cab 5.7 two-wheel drive with just under 10,000 miles, bare bones tradesman in great shape, many mods, granite, crystal with OEM black 20 strips. Send you an email. Oh, Jeff, are you selling that then, or what are you thinking? That sounds like a good candidate for a Hellcat swap if I can grab that off you for a decent price. Right now I'm kind of hurting for funds wise. The amount of money I've been spending that was unplanned on this stupid thing, but we'll get through that part of it. Reggie Carter says the interior is amazing. Thanks, man. We spent a bunch of time in there too, getting that all sorted out. I think the brass monkey wheels on the Hellcat would be badass. Looking to. I do like the black wheels too. Yeah, I agree, Matt, but the problem is the bolt pattern is kind of a blessing and a curse on the Dakota. So the bolt pattern isn't a 5-bolt, it's a 6-bolt, and it's only shared with the Viper. So that's why I have Viper wheels on it, and that's where I got the SRT wheels. So that's part of the problem with it. So unless we do like a 5-lug conversion, but that would just open up a whole nother can of worms. Because right now I have Viper front brakes with Viper front rotors on it. So if I go to 5-lug, then I'm gonna have to try to find a big rotor that has a 5-lug on it. So it's just a whole other can of worms for now. But I agree, the brass monkeys would look legit on there if I could find some. Long shot. I think the Hellcat master cylinder should work now. I think so too. I just gotta try it. So. And I kind of have to, I need a drivetrain to be able to push the truck or to be able to test the brakes and see how they work with the other thing on there. So I haven't swapped it out yet. That's kind of one of those things. If I get to it, I'll get to it. I should be able to, but I just want to make sure all the main stuff is done. I mean, we were driving the truck. Obviously, it stops and everything. So if worse comes worse, if I don't get to it, I could still make do with what I have. But I'm gonna try to swap it out, and hopefully the brakes will be better with the Hellcat Master. Plus the other thing too is right now it keeps giving me the low fluid level sensor. So the Dakota reservoir doesn't have the sensor for the low fluid. So it's giving me a light right now, whereas if I put the Hellcat one on there, I can plug my sensor back in and that'll go away. Steven says, with all the new lines and new calipers, I'm sure you'll find success putting the master cylinder from the Hellcat. I hope so. The only thing is, the Hellcat one does go through the ABS module, which eventually I might try to connect. I do have the ABS module that it gets plumbed through, but I just haven't had a chance to try it yet. Yeah, so eventually I kind of want to, like I said, if I can get the ABS sensors to work, then I'll mess with probably hooking up the ABS module, because there's a bunch of cool features like launch control and stuff like that we could, and like factory line lock that we can enable on the car if we end up doing that stuff. Jackson says you only need to upgrade license for commercial use. Is that true? I don't know if anybody can just jump behind the wheel of those things. If it is true, I don't know. That'd be cool. I just haven't investigated it. I don't know. I've just assumed that you needed one, but like I said, I could be wrong. You guys could be right. I could be wrong. I don't claim to be an expert on that stuff. I just assumed that, Class C was a Class C, and if I wanted to buy a bigger motorhome, I needed to get the license for it. Kilner says, did you buy those Corbeau seats, or are they still the ones you borrowed from your friends? Those are still Jason's seats. So I haven't decided if I'm going to buy a set of those or what I'm going to do, but yeah, they're not mine. Jeff says, yes. You doing car showing? I'm not sure what you mean. Jeff says, pick an email. Don't they make aftermarket a Master from Willwood? Probably. I already have the Hellcat one sitting here, so I'll probably try it first and see how that goes. GMC 6500, that would be legit. What's up? I'm late. We've been going for over an hour, so we've just been chatting it up. I did a live in the shop here. I'm gonna leave this posted as well too for you guys, so you guys can check that out. But I think I'm probably gonna wrap it up because what time is it? I'm gonna grab some food and stuff. So I just wanted to do this with you guys since I didn't get a chance to upload anything, but not a whole lot went on today other than just, like I said, some kind of housekeeping stuff around the shop and garage. Just get kind of organized. And good news is I'll have a stock converter on Monday. So like I said, my one got shipped off to Circle D, but I did kind of run around and make sure that I was gonna have something for Monday so that I get something put together. So I'll end up getting the stock converter on Monday, and then slap this thing together Monday, and hopefully everything goes as planned. And if there's no hiccups and we do a little bit of testing, there's no shaking, then we'll be loading up and going to Roadkill Nights as planned. But like I said, if this thing's still shaking, then and I can't figure out what the shake is on time, then I won't be loading up. But I'm pretty sure it was the transmission. Like I said, if you guys rewatch this live, I did talk about something and kind of had like a little light bulb events going on in this live where I was saying that, I'll even show you, hold on a second. So this box of all this random junk, if I can even find what I'm talking about in here, this is the box of bolts that I got with the swap. So it's just all random bolts and hardware from the Hellcat. And I've been taking stuff from here and I've been putting more stuff in. But, I don't know if I can find it. When I first got it, there was a bunch of grease in the box and a bunch of ball bearings. And I didn't really think too much about it. But that was kind of, let's see if I can find one because it'd be kind of interesting if I can. I was curious like what the heck I was looking at, but the more I thought about it, let me see if I can find it real quick. Just dig in here. I either threw them out or I left them in here, but I thought that I left some of them in here. Maybe not. I might have tossed it. Anyways, I'll take my word for it. Anyways, long story short, inside that box, there was some large ball bearings with grease and all that stuff, and I was trying to figure out what the hell that was, but like I said, the light bulb event that kind of went off in my head was, again, the vehicle had a very large side impact, and the ball bearings and everything in there, if you remember, or if you know, the factory Hellcat setup goes from the tail shaft of the transmission. It has a short drive shaft that goes to a carrier bearing, and then from there it goes down to the differential. So I don't know if it's just the way they took it apart, but I'm probably assuming that if they were able to unbolt it, they probably would just went unbolted it. But I had a bunch of ball bearings inside that box full of all the nuts and bolts. So that meant that that thing got hit hard enough that it broke the bearing on the carrier bearing on the drive shaft. So I can't think of any other reason why there would be ball bearings and all that stuff split open inside that box. It must have got hit so hard that it broke the carrier bearing, which means that it pushed on the drive shaft like crazy and it bent something inside the transmission. So kind of explains a little bit more on what the situation was. Again, we bought it from a small junkyard with a 90-day warranty, so I'm kind of SOL on that. But I think the more that I think about that, probably what the case was. Something was bent in the transmission from such a hard side impact. And even though it physically looked okay and it wasn't leaking, something was doing like a jump rope situation inside the transmission. And it was, like I said, it was speed dependent. It wasn't to do with launching it. If it was to do with launching it, it would have broke, 10 feet, 20 feet, 30 feet after launching the truck out of the gate. But when we were testing it, you got to a certain speed, you would feel a vibration. That was the fastest I've ever gone in that truck when we did like 100 in the 8th, and it literally self-destructed going that fast. So I think we should be okay after all this. Definitely an eventful way to find out that something isn't right, but it's part of doing all this, I suppose. I guess better, is it better late than never? I don't know. I can't think. I gotta eat some food. But either way, I guess it's a good thing that we found out about it, and you know, wasn't any significant issues. We didn't wreck the truck. I didn't get wrecked, so I guess there's some positives come out of it. But I'm gonna cut it off here, you guys. Like I said, I'm gonna go get some food, relax a little bit. Should be another video for you guys tomorrow. I'm not sure. I didn't get much. Well, I didn't really do anything. I'm kind of at a standstill right now, so I didn't really do anything. You guys are up to date on everything. Like I said, I haven't done anything yet on the truck, but hopefully soon. Thanks for watching. Make sure you give it a thumbs up before you take off, and thanks for your support, you guys. So you guys have been killing it on the videos lately. We've been getting a ton of views on these late videos. I know people love drama, but at the same time, it's helping kind of put a small dent in the amount of money we're having to spend to get this thing back on the road. So thanks again, guys. Have a good weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.